You can adjust your cameras, your microphones. Shishan, Wei Shen, Nicholas, EJ, Clarence, and Angel so far. Okay, guys, if you're here, please open your cameras. Shishan, how are you?
I'm fine, teacher. How about you?
I'm very well, thank you. What did you do today?
Teacher, do you mean what I do today?
I cannot hear you very well, sweetie. I think your microphone is not working correctly, or you were a bit too far away.
Sorry, teacher. I just now put too far away.
Okay, good. Tell me, what did you do today?
Me and my family and I went to botanical garden in the morning.
Oh, okay, good. Did you have a good time there?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Good. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, guys, apart from this is Wei Shen says that her camera is not working. The rest of you, please open your cameras.
Teacher, my cam is on.
It is on, but I can actually see your background, but not you. That's strange. Thank you, Clarence. Nicholas, thank you. Angel, Ruchi, Max, Linus, cameras on, please. Okay, guys, first things first. Only 3 students did their homework. Only 3 students. And one of them, I don't even know who is that because it says anonymous. So I do have Linus, EJ, and anonymous. No idea who is that. I've read EJ's. Linus submitted not that long time ago, so I didn't have time to read it. EJ did quite well. I really did like all the structure. I liked the grammar. There's certain minor grammar mistakes. It's okay, not a big deal, but of course, there are some mistakes over there. Whoever was the anonymous, I would say the essay is kind of too short, I guess, and also very plain, like the language, the structure of the sentences are too simple. So whoever that is, because they didn't put their name, I cannot really say who is that. And I still haven't read Linus's, but I will read it once I'm going to give you a task and give him a feedback as well. The rest of you, you didn't submit your essay, unfortunately. So, I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm not your parent, obviously. I'm not here to scold you. I'm not here to say that, you know, you have to do this. Of course, this is a course. It's up to you. But if you really want to pass this level, guys, I would strongly advise if you can pay a little bit more attention and do your tasks. It's for your own good. Otherwise, you know, in December, you're going to sit and do the exam. But if you don't pass FCE, you're going to go to the lower level. So, I mean, if you don't have issues with that, that's fine by me. I really think that you are here to learn. Yes, certain points are a little bit more challenging than others, but I think that you need to take it a little bit more serious. Again, it's up to you. This is just a course. I'm doing my job from my side, but you have to do it from your side as well. Okay, so today we have a couple of things we're going to do. We're going to do some listening. We're going to do some reading. First things first, I want to ask you, because our unit 6 talks about jobs and work. So of course, you still haven't had the options or the opportunity to choose what kind of job. Some of you, most likely, you do know in which area you want to work in. Others, you still don't know. But what is more important? Is it important to enjoy the job, or is it important to earn more money? What would you choose, EJ? To enjoy the job or to earn more money? What is more important to you?
I think to enjoy the job is more important, as we need to do the job every day, and if we are not enjoying the job, and I think it's don't have the meaning for doing that.
Oh.
So it's quite boring, I think.
Okay, but what if you're doing the job, you're really enjoying it, but it's not paid enough?
At least you are happy. But then
Yeah, what would you do if the job is not paid enough? Like literally, you cannot survive during the month, but you like the job. What would you do?
maybe change the job,
Okay.
like choose a better one.
Okay, good. Thank you. Angel, do you know one of the top 10 highly paid works or jobs in the world?
Maybe, but I think maybe an astronaut.
An astronaut. Okay. All right, good. Clarence, what do you think? Which jobs are highly paid in the world?
I think doctors get to pay the most.
You think so?
Yeah.
I would disagree that in the UK. In the UK, they're not paid enough.
Currently I would say paramedics.
Well, paramedics, technically what they do is they just drive to the place where, for example, someone calls. So they don't do much. I don't even think so. Like here in the UK, I can say for the UK, obviously, I don't think they're paid much. Okay. Okay, I'm going to share with you a video. There will be a couple of questions though about top 10 highest paying job. Okay, so I'm going to need your full attention. Let me share my screen with you. Okay, here we are. We're going to have 15 questions. It will be about top 10 highest paying job. Let's see which jobs are those.
Hello, you most beautiful and most amazing top 10ers. How are you doing today? I hope you're feeling fabulous. I'm Rebecca Felgate and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. Now today we are talking the top 10 highest paid jobs in the world. Woo! Cue like money.
Okay, what is the title of the video? Wei
Top
Shen?
10 highest paying jobs.
Oh, thank you, Max.
It's literally
Alright.
up there.
It is, yes, but we need to ask.
Cue like money raining down on me and us just dancing in it. Too bad it's fake. In at number 10, we have a senior front-end web developer. Now, web development is
Okay, what job is number 10? Rui Chi.
Senior front-end web developer.
Web developer. Do you know what does a web developer do? Web
I don't know.
developer. Who knows? Web developer. It has something to do with the internet, with the web pages. Senior front-end web developer.
Development is absolutely huge these days and is making a lot of people a lot of money. Now, with the rise of Silicon Valley and startup businesses, there is a call for web developers across the world. Now, senior web developers make an average of $100,000 in the United States and around £70,000 in England. Now, technically, you don't actually need a degree to be a senior web developer, but you do need to be absolutely fluent in coding. Actually,
Okay, what do you need to be a web developer? Sankai.
Be absolutely fluent in coding.
Be absolutely fluent. That's correct.
Coding. Actually, I know a fair few web developers who are really cool, but they dropped out of university to focus on their coding skills, and now they're making mad money. In at number 8, we have dentist. Now, dentistry is a time-honored profession. Everyone needs a good dentist to keep our gnashers white and healthy. Now,
Okay, obviously we do know what is number 8. I'm going to skip the question.
Now, dentists earn an average of $100,000 worldwide, with the highest earning potential for dentistry being in Spain, where the average salary is $175,000, so that's over 150,000 euros. Now, to be a dentist, you need to train for many, many years.
Okay, what is the first thing you need to be a dentist? Mithul.
I don't understand the question. What is the first thing you need to be a dentist?
Yeah, let's watch it again. Let's see.
I don't understand the question.
$100,000 worldwide, with the highest earning potential for dentistry being in Spain, where the average salary is $175,000, so that's over 150,000 euros. Now, to be a dentist, you need to train for many, many years.
Did you hear it now?
Train for many years?
Train for many years, yeah. You need to train for many years.
Many years, you need to get a bachelor's degree, a PhD, several years of residencies, and various certifications. Now,
not really. I wouldn't agree with that. Basically, to become a dentist in most European countries, what you have to do is obviously you need to go to a medical school, which is about I think it's called dentistry. I'm not really sure. It doesn't matter, but it is a bachelor's degree. So usually it takes about 5 to 6 years. And after that, you need to have like a state exam. So once you pass that, you have a license to be a dentist. That's in most of the European countries. I don't know, maybe in America it's something different. Okay, what do you need to become a dentist, Nicholas? Nicholas, can you hear me? I cannot hear you. So your microphone is moving, but I don't hear you. Okay, something is wrong. Okay, make sure you fix that. Shishan, what do you need to become a dentist? I don't hear you as well. All right, I give up. Who can tell me? Clarence?
PhD and degree.
Bachelor's degree and a PhD. Okay, good.
Now, in many countries, dentists are also required to work at the weekends, which is worth bearing in mind. In at number 7, we have lawyer. Yes, being a lawyer. Now, no one is above the law, but lawyers certainly rake in a crazy amount of dough.
Okay, number 7 is a lawyer. Do you know the other name? Very similar job they do. Do you know the other name? Solicitor. So especially here in the UK, we have a lot of solicitors. But the thing is, when they're solicitors, I think they're working with specific areas. Let's say this is for marriage and divorces. Maybe there is another solicitor that is working for some human rights and so on. So there are also a lot of solicitors or lawyers.
Of dough. On average, lawyers earn around $110,000. Now that's in the United States. Similarly, they earn around $80,000 in the UK. Now there are many different strands of law that one could choose to specialize in, such as criminal, federal, humanitarian, like a Mel Clooney. Each have a slightly different pay bracket, but we're going with an average here. While the average may seem what you expect, the top lawyers around the world pull in millions of pounds, dollars, euros a year. So to become a lawyer, you'll need an undergraduate degree, you then need to attend law school, you'll then need to pass the bar.
Okay, what do you need to be a lawyer, Angel?
Get an undergraduate degree, attend the law school, and pass the bar test.
Pass a bar test. Guys, what does that mean? Pass a bar test.
Minimum requirement.
Sorry, Angel, say it again, please.
Is it the minimum requirement?
So basically, once you finish undergraduate degree, and then you need to go to law school, obviously, Bar test is the final exam. Once you graduate from everything, it's the final exam before becoming a lawyer. It's same thing, I think, in medicine also, doctors have that as well, because they need to, well, they need to say, I swear that I'm going to be loyal and I'm going to do all the good things and so on. There's like a thing that they need to say. So pass a bar test is very important, because if you don't pass a bar test, you're not going to be a lawyer.
The bar. After that, you need to take a year-long pupillage. So it can take anywhere between 5 and 10 years to become fully qualified. Even longer if you want to be top of your game and earning that serious cash. That said, being a lawyer is a very consistent job with a very consistent demand. In at number 5, we have airline pilots. So high-flying jobs call.
Okay, numbers 5, it did skip 6, and I think it skipped 9 as well. We do know it is a pilot.
Flying jobs call for high-flying money. Airline pilots across the board earn an average of $165,000, so that's £113,000. Many airline pilots with bigger and much more luxury brands earn even more. Now, to be a pilot, you'll need a high school qualification, then you need to undertake an intensive flying school program before you get a flying license. Now, before you can get the flying license, you need 250 hours of personal flight time, in addition to 1,500 hours of flight time on a public airliner. Obviously, there are lots of risks involved with flying a plane, so you need to go through rigorous tests and security tests, all kinds of training, and you'll also need to learn English. So there you go.
Okay, Clarence, we do know you like to be a pilot. Can you tell us something that you think is very important for a person who wants to become a pilot? What is it, maybe like 1 to 2 things they need to focus on?
Obviously the flight training process, and well, you will need to be very fluent in communicating and, well, understanding everything that people is explaining to you, so that you don't mess up anything.
Okay, good, perfect, thank you.
So there you go. In at number 4, we have obstetrician and gynecologist. But at medical related, at number 3, we have surgeons. So surgeons make mega.
Okay, surgeon. What does a surgeon do, Sankai?
Surgeon, they, what's it called? Operations.
They do
They do
operations on.
operations on you, like if you have like something like heart transparent, what do you call? Like you
If you do what?
transfer hearts.
Aha, transplant.
Ah, yes, transplant. I almost said transfer.
Okay, all right. So surgeons, yes, there are different kind of surgeons, obviously, and
Surgeons make mega bucks. The average surgeon's salary is over $240,000, with neurosurgeons earning around $385,000 on average. This is insane. Now, in the UK, the earning potential for a surgeon is dramatically less, although it is still a rather handsome average of £100,000 for senior surgeons. So obviously being a surgeon means having life and death in your physical hands. Now, to save lives successfully, you need some serious training as well as a strong stomach, because ability to deal with blood is pretty much number 1 on the job description. Now, training will include around 4 years of undergraduate study, 4 years of medical school leading to a Doctor of Medicine degree, then 3 to 8 years of surgical residency in a hospital, so ultimately that's almost 16 years of study. However, the time invested.
Okay, how many years of studying do you need to become a surgeon? Mi Wong.
4.
4, are you sure? I have a cousin, she's an oncologist. Oncologist is a special doctor about people who are suffering from cancer. So her education was as this. She went 4 years into high school, which was a medical school. Then she went 6 years into bachelor's degree school, medicine school again. So that was 6. And then she needed to specialize in oncology, and she did 6 years again. So 16 years. But between the bachelor's degree and the specialty that she chose, she needed to have 3 years of working experience. So basically, all in all, 16, roughly 19 to 20 years to become the highest point of your future goal or idea that you want it to be. So it is quite demanding, obviously.
However, the time investment will certainly pay dividends in earning potential. Close but bucks. Okay guys, so we have reached that all-important moment in our top 10 highest paid jobs in the world, where I'm going to reveal the #1 spot. Now some of you guys may be wondering where YouTuber, actor, actress and sports person are, and they're not on the list because very few people actually make successful careers out of these things, although obviously it is possible and the lucky few do make a lot of money. So getting back to the #1 job, which you could feasibly do and get paid a heckload of money, it is CEO of a digital company. So the average...
Okay, CEO of a digital company. But what does a digital company mean, Linus?
A company that sells digital products.
Okay. Can you give us an example?
Apple.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah. Oh, I need to put it out. I thought I could have skipped it.
You put wrong, you put wrong.
Yeah, I realized.
So the average salary across the whole world for a CEO is just $150,000. Just. Now bear with me, because these figures actually rise very quickly. Now on top of that, your average CEO will get a bonus of up to $100,000 a year, then a profit share of up to $100,000, then often commission of around $30,000 on top of that. So already we're well over $300,000 a year. Now the reason why CEO is #1 is because not only is the average salary high, the earning potential is phenomenal. The top 100 CEOs out there in America make an average of $9 million a year. Now in 2012...
Okay, how much money they make? Max? Mithu?
9 million.
Yep. $9 million.
Now in 2012, the highest paid CEO was the US Lawrence J. Ellison of Oracle, who made $96.2 million. Oh my god. So there we go guys, some crazy money out there. Two things to say about this really. Unfortunately, the proportion of jobs listed above occupied by women is alarmingly low. And #2, honestly, it really doesn't matter what you do and how much money you make, as long as you're happy and you're happy with what you do. So there we go.
Do you agree with this? It really doesn't matter what you do and how much money you make, as long as you are happy with what you do. Do you agree with this? EJ, do you agree with this statement?
Probably because we need money to survive as well. So
that's true. Unfortunately, probably in the 21st century, life became a little bit more hectic and people were just going crazy over money, and everyone is trying to earn as much as they can. And to a certain point, I'm okay with that. But I do know a lot of people that are working very hard. They don't actually have time to spend their money. Like, I don't know how much you know, obviously, about the UK. I can say about the UK, I am lucky that I work from home because I don't work 40 hours or plus in a week. But I do know a lot of people that literally they need to leave their home. And especially here, like in London area, they need to leave their home at about 6, maybe 7 the latest. And they need to go to their offices or their site, depends what kind of job they work. And roughly they will finish maybe 6 o'clock in the evening, and until they're back home it will be like 8 o'clock in the evening. And of course they're working Monday to Friday. There is a trial now with certain companies here in the UK that they're only going to work for 4 days a week. It's just a trial to see how productive the employers and the employees will be. But obviously working as much doesn't necessarily make you going to be happy, because yes, you might gonna earn a little bit more money, but what's the point if you cannot spend them, if you cannot really enjoy them? So you do have a lot of time to figure out what kind of career would you like to have in the future. Of course, choose something that you like, something that you enjoy, but also be a little bit focused with the money as well, because it's not just about maybe you're going to do your job very well and you're going to like your job, but if you're not paid well enough, you're going to lose your motivation eventually. Maybe not in the first 2-3 years, you're going to enjoy it, but you're going to see that a lot of people are actually working much less and they're earning more. So you have to be very wise what kind of choice you're going to make. And of course, that choice will be much, much easier for you if you learn to speak English as fluent as you can. That's my advice for you. If I'm not an English teacher, because I have 2 degrees, one is in translation, one is in teaching, I would never choose languages. You know why? Because I had a talent to learn the languages, because I don't speak only English. So if I was wiser many, many years ago, or if I had someone to open my eyes, I would never choose to teach English or to work with English language. I would rather choose a different career where I can use English as an advantage. So be very wise what kind of job you're going to choose. I mean, I do love my job now, but I'm saying I have other skills that most likely I would have used them in my life, but now I wouldn't even bother. I'm okay with what I do. Okay, great. That was a little bit of warm up about our job system in the world, what jobs are highly paid. Of course, there are certain jobs that are not paid enough. We're not going to speak about them. We don't want to demotivate ourselves. Okay, next thing we're going to do, if I can please ask you, open your books on page 64. We're going to have some reading and use of English, your least favorite thing, because we're going to have a text to read. And then we will have 6 questions to answer. Okay, so when we have this kind of exercise, the first thing that you need to do is, that's my advice for you, go through the questions, see what potentially you're going to read in the text, what kind of information are required for you. So exercise 4, you are having 6 questions. I will give you like 2 minutes to skim read the questions. Skim read means don't focus too much on them. Just try to get a general understanding of the text by reading the questions. Once we've done that, we're going to read the text, and then I'm going to let you like 5 minutes probably so you can find the answers. In the meanwhile, once we're going to read it, if there will be certain words that we don't understand, we're always going to use the Cambridge Dictionary. So make sure you are underlining the new words and write them down in your notebooks. Hopefully you do have a notebook. So I'm giving you some time so you can read the questions first, and then we're going to read the text together. Okay, so this is actually a text about a girl that she started working with her father. That was her first job, and she is sharing some of the experience that she gained over there. All right, let's start reading. Ruchi, the first paragraph is for you, please. Ruchi. Ruchi, can you hear me? Hello? Ruchi, can you hear me? Nicholas, can you hear me?
Yes, teacher, yes.
Okay, can you start reading, please?
Yes, when I was just 16, my father bought an old guest house in the village where we live and decided to turn it into a
Luxury?
luxury hotel. At the early stage of the hotel, he experimented with everything. None of us had ever worked in a hotel before, but my dad had a vision of what guests would like to see. His standards were uncompromisingly
Compromisingly?
uncompromisingly high, and he believed that in order to achieve those standards, the most important thing was work.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Ruichi, can you go next, please?
For a month that summer, my name was down on the duty roster as waitress at breakfast and dinner, which included laying the tables in the dining room beforehand and hovering and glass polishing afterwards. This gave me the middle of the day free for studying because, predictably, my school report had not lived up to my father's high expectations.
Thank you. Max, are you here? Yes, can you read the next one, please? Like
all the other waitresses, I was equipped with a neat little uniform and instruction to treat the guests as though they were special visitors in my own home. Although I did not feel comfortable with this, I did not express my feelings. Instead, I concentrated all my attention on doing the job as well as, if not better than, the older girls.
Thank you. Mithu, you're next.
I soon learned how to tackle the two most daunting installations in the kitchen, the dishwasher and the chef, Gordon. He had an impressive chef's hat and terrifying ability to lose his temper and get violent for no clear reason. His breath was strong and fishy, and I avoided close contact with him and always grabbed the dishes. He sat down with a forbidding expression on my face, which was transformed into a charming smile in the brief space between kitchen and dining room.
Thank you. Okay. Mi Wong, you are next. I hope you can use your microphone at least.
Breakfast waitressing was, I found, more enjoyable than the dinner shift. The guests came wandering into the dining room from 7:30 onwards, staring with appreciation at the view of sea and islands through the dining room window.
Okay, keep reading, please. If
If the
today,
day looked promising, I would note down requests for boats and packed lunches along with their breakfast orders. It was a matter of pride to me that everyone got their order promptly, and I took pleasure in my ability to get on with the people at each table.
thank you. Linus, you're next.
It was funny how differently people behave in the evenings, dressed up and talking with louder, colder voices, not always returning my smile. However, that all changed when Dad, who was keen to make full use of my full potential, created a special role for me which made me feel considerably more important.
Perfect, thank you. Sankai, you're next.
Teacher, yeah.
Yes, can you go with the next one, please? It began.
Sorry?
Can you continue reading from here?
Oh, okay. It began with a few modest trays of cakes for the guests, packed lunch, and progressively to fancy cakes for afternoon teas. After I found that recipes were easy to follow and it was amusing to improvise, this led to climax, a nightly extravaganza known as Lucy's Sweet Trolley. Every evening, I made a grand entrance, wheeling before me a trolley carrying the most extraordinary collection of puddings. cakes, and other desserts ever to grace a Scottish hotel. Most were things I had invented myself, and I had cooked all of them. Some Jacobite grenades, mocha. How do you pronounce that, teacher?
No idea. That's a different, like specific.
Genghis.
Genghis Khan. I don't know.
Genghis Khan, and goat's milk, Bavarios, to name a few, were undeniably strange. It was Dad's idea that I should dress smartly and stop at each other and recite the name of each dish.
Okay, did you manage, thank you. Did you manage, guys, to underline some of the words you don't understand? Yes or no?
Huh?
Sankai, we don't say we say pardon.
Pardon?
Did you underline some unfamiliar words in the text?
Only the names.
Only the names. The rest of them, it's okay. You understand the words.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Shishan, how about you? Did you underline some of the words? Yes or no?
No.
No. Wei Shen, how about you? Did you underline some of the words to underline them? Like this one, like daunting, it's underlined. Okay, guys, you're not responding to me. I have no idea if you're here, if you're understanding me, if you don't understand me. I really have no idea. I don't know what's going on. Wei Shan, are you here? Aha, okay, line is very bad. Nicholas, did you underline some of the words?
Charming.
Pardon?
I underline charming.
How many words did you find that you don't understand in this text?
I think just one for now.
Which one?
Charming.
Charming.
Yeah.
Charming, okay. Charming is a charming smile. When someone smiles, not necessarily they're going to be like beautiful, like a beautiful person, not necessarily. It doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl, doesn't really matter. But when they smile, they have something. I don't know how to explain this. You know, when you see someone and maybe they don't look good, they're not dressed well, like literally, you will miss them on the street. But when they smile, it has like a specific type of attraction. That's a charming smile.
Understand.
Playful, in other words. Okay, guys, let's see the answers. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. So I want you to find the answers to the following 6 questions over here. I will give you some time. Once you're ready, just give me thumbs up, please, so we can check out the answers. Please let me know when you're ready. Is anyone ready? When you're searching for the answers, I want you to show me which sentence is showing you the answer. You do know this numbers over here, it's actually the line of the text. So don't get confused with them in case if you don't know what do they mean. Is anyone ready, guys? How many of you are ready? Please give me any reaction. Angel is ready.
May.
EJ is ready. Max is ready. Okay. Nicholas is ready. All right. Okay, let's take a look. Let's start with the first one. Nicholas, I'll start with you. Tell me about the first question.
What did the people working at the hotel have in common? My answer is C. They all lack experience.
Experience. How did you know? Where did you find this?
In line 5, none of us had ever worked in a hotel before.
Perfect. So none of us had ever worked in a hotel before. Well done. Okay. So I'm just going to write the answers in the chat box, guys, in case if you missed them. So we're having one is C. Okay, EJ, the next one for you, please. The second question.
What does the writer mean by daunting in line 24? Frightening.
Frightening. You say it's B. How do you know?
I searched for the meaning of daunting.
Aha, okay, smart. Okay, so number 2, we got B. All right. Angel, the third one for you, please.
What did Lucy do while she carried food to the dining room? She smiled at Gordon in a friendly way.
Sorry, sweetie, which one did you say is the correct answer?
B.
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 Did you say B?
A.
Ah, A. Oh, sorry. Okay, do we agree A is the correct answer? Anybody else has something else? Because that's not the correct answer. Linus, what do you have?
B. I have B.
You have B. Max, what do you have, number 3?
A.
You have A, okay. Does anyone have D? Nicholas, you have D. D is the correct answer. And I need you to find in the text, where does it say? So the third one is D. Okay, in the meanwhile, we're going to number 4. Max?
B.
You're too lazy to read the question?
Okay. Lucy enjoyed serving breakfast more than dinners because the guests were more friendly.
Okay, the correct answer is B. Linus, number 5, please.
What was special about the food on Lucy's sweet trolley? D. It contained a number of new creations.
Perfect. The correct answer is D. Well done. And Mithu, 6, please.
One question I didn't finish because I'm confused, but from what I understand, I put B,
B.
and I know I'm wrong, right?
Did you say B? Boy,
Yes,
B. Yeah.
Yes.
B is the correct answer. Yeah.
Never mind.
B is the correct answer. Okay, so our issue obviously is question 3. And I say the correct answer is D. What did Lucy do while she carried food to the dining room? She started to look more friendly. Can you find that in the text somewhere? Where was that mentioned? It was something with the word that Nicholas asked me previously. Something with a charming smile. Yes, something with a charming smile, because she says, I always grab the dishes he set down with a forbidding expression on my face, which was transformed into a charming smile in a brief space between kitchen and dining room. So I want to know, how many of you had 6 answers correct? Give me a reaction. I want to see how you're getting this type of exercises. None of you had 6 correct. Okay. How many of you had 5 correct? Angel, Nicholas, Linus? Okay, thank you. How many of you got 4 correct? Niwong, Mithu, EJ. Okay. All right. So the easiest way, guys, is first, you need to, when you're reading the question, now, usually, ignore this on the side. It says first you need to read the text. No, because if you read the text, it will be a little bit confusing. So that's why I'm asking you first to read the question so you will know what you need to focus on during the text. So, for example, the first one, what did the people working at the hotel have in common? Okay, so you're reading this, and this automatically is giving you a little bit more information, what you need to focus on. They understood the expectations, they have the same goal, they didn't have any experience, or they were hardworking. Obviously, the correct answer was none of us had worked in a hotel before, right? So this actually gives me a little bit more information that these people had no experience. That's why I'm asking you first to read the questions, find the potential, maybe a synonym, most likely. So for your level, you need to search for synonyms in the text, not for the exact same words, because that's for a lower level. For you, you need to obviously increase your vocabulary and you need to search for synonyms in the text. All right, perfect. Before I give you a break, let's just have a little chit chat over here. Would you enjoy doing a job like Lucy's? Why yes, why no, Egypt?
I think no, because I have to stand for a long time and serve the things for people, and it seems like don't have holiday on Sunday and Saturday. So I think it's like I need to work for every day.
Okay, not necessarily. So people that work in retail, in catering, this is catering, okay? Catering is something when you actually work in a hotel, or not in a hotel, sorry, in a restaurant, in a bar, and you serve people, especially with food, mainly with food. It's called catering. There are a lot of companies nowadays that they're providing this for certain parties maybe, or celebrations and so on. So by law, no one is supposed to work 7 days a week. And I'm saying by law, and this is in every single country. However, there are exceptions. For example, for me, I pretty much work 7 days a week because I don't work 8 hours a day. So, well, because let's say today I'm just having 3 hours of teaching. So 2 with you and 1 with another student. But for people that work full-time, and full-time is considered 35 and above, I would say 35 is not probably ideal, because I don't think anyone is going to give you a work if you're doing 35 hours. I think the minimum should be 37. I think in most of the countries, though I'm not sure. 40 is a full-timer. So if you're a full-timer, obviously you are allowed to work 5 to 6 days a week. One day, you always, that's a must. You need to have a day off. Usually it's 2 days, but as I said, some of the companies are a little bit tricky. So maybe they will, let's say they will give you like working hours, maybe 3 hours on Monday, but then on Saturday, they want you to do 5 hours or 8 hours, doesn't matter. Okay, perfect. Do you think being a waiter is a good holiday job for you as a teenager, Sankai? To be a waiter?
It's a good holiday job to be a waiter as a teenager.
Why? Why yes or no?
You can gain experience, and you could like see how can I like say like how society treats you.
Okay.
Well, no, why not is because I actually can't think of anything not beneficial for teenagers as a.
Okay, but what do you mean by that? How society treats you? Do you think that people who work as waitresses and waiters in a restaurant or in a bar, they're not being appreciated.
Like their attitude, like depends what they. I can't, like, because I don't have any experience, so I don't really know what to say about this.
Okay, but it's your opinion. For example, do you think that people that work as a waitresses and waiters, they should be respected as any other people?
Yes, they should.
Okay, do you think they are?
Sometimes not,
Okay, and why is that?
because some people just think that they are superior than the waiters. They also could think waiters are just mates or something. Like they are like the lower rank people.
I agree. I agree with you. To a certain point, I agree. I think that has been a little bit of debate in the past couple of years about how people treat waiter and waitresses or people that actually work in bars and restaurants and so on. But let's just be fair. There are certain schools actually that you need to attend in order for you to work in an elite restaurant and so on. So it's not necessarily a job that is not respected. I did watch a movie, I think it was yesterday. Two people, they went on a date, and the guy was just so annoyed how the waiter served their food. And he started screaming and he said, do you know how many years I've been studying this to become what I am now? Now he works in I think he was like a manager in a restaurant or something like that. But he was so annoyed because he said people do not respect stuff that they work in a restaurant or in a bar just because they are serving food. They're not doing anything intellectual, pretty much, but they're just serving some food. So I agree with you, but I wouldn't say that's the thing here in the UK. I think um, catering staff or people that work in a bar, in a restaurant, in a coffee bar, in any kind of bar for that matter, I think they are respected. I would say most of the time, because there are some ugly personalities out there and they can be really mean, but it's really, it really shouldn't be like that. All right, guys, I'm going to give you a short break, about 5 minutes. Once we are back, I have two things that I want us to do. One of the tasks is listening. It will be quite intense because I want to see what's going on with our listening skills. And we will have a couple of speaking opportunities over here because I want you to see some good examples. And we'll see how much time we're going to have for the grammar. I don't think we're going to have time to cover it today, but that's fine. That's why we have next week's class. But in the meanwhile, please take your break about 5 to 7 minutes. Do what you have to do. Be back here and we will continue. Okay, guys, let's get back. Okay, so well done with the first exercise with reading and language in use. Obviously, we did quite well. Of course, there are certain things we need to focus on, but that's why I said before you do this kind of exercise, make sure you're reading the questions, make sure you're understanding the question, and then search for synonyms in the text. That's your key thing that you need to do. Next thing we're going to do, obviously, will be a little bit of speaking part. So you do know that the first exercise, once you're going to go and take the speaking part, of course, they will ask you, who are you, where you're from, and so on. After that, the first exercise will be to compare pictures or photographs, whatever you like to call them. Again, you're not describing them, you are comparing them. To start with, we're having two pictures over here. They're similar, but they're different. So you do remember that when you're having a picture like this, ideally, you should say, what are the similarities? So it means that you need to compare them. Once you're saying something for one picture, you need to make sure that you're saying something for the second picture as well. Once you finish with the similarities, you need to say how these pictures are different. So I'm having two pictures here on this page. What are the people learning from doing these two types of work? I will ask Mithu to tell us. Try to compare these two pictures for us, please.
Well, I was having a feeling you would choose me for some reason.
Pardon?
I had a feeling you were going to choose me. I don't know.
You were
why this
absent
always
last
happens.
week, so that's why.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. So I just compare them, right?
Yes, please.
In the first picture, the similarities for both of them are they are taking orders. One is for food, it looks like, and the second one is like for training. And the difference is it's in different areas. Like this is outside, and the other one's inside.
Use this.
Oh yeah.
If it helps, if it confuses you, don't use it.
It's doing both for some reason.
Okay, that's fine. There's no wrong answer. Just give it a go.
I'm thinking.
Okay.
Can you go with another one? I'm thinking. I forgot how to do this. It's been some time. Can you ask someone else? I need to prepare.
Just try it. Come on.
I didn't do this in like so long. Like I'm not looking at that. It's making it worse. In the first one,
So tell us what is similar about these two photos.
they both are taking orders. That's the first similarity I found. And the second one,
What about the second one?
I seriously regret being absent yesterday, last week. I had to do this.
Okay. Tell me, Mithu, how comfortable do you feel with this? Pardon. Oh my God, what am I saying? With this type of exercise, how comfortable do you feel?
It's difficult for me.
Why is difficult?
I'm not very good at comparing stuff.
Okay, but you know what is my concern? You have a very good language skills, like your vocabulary is pretty good, the grammar is pretty good, you like to speak, you're very chatty, so I love that. How is this a challenging task for you?
It's hard comparing.
The comparing is difficult.
Yes.
Okay, so we have to practice that. Okay, thank you. Thank you for being honest. EJ, would you like to give it a go?
Okay. Both photos shows the jobs in the service sectors, and for the first picture, the people is the people learn to treat people, customer, more friendly. While for the second picture, the person is learning to deal with children, and they are different in ways because they treat different peoples. For the first picture, the person need to be friendly and need to understand what the requirements for the food or something that ordered by the customer. While for the second picture, the person need to be like need to know how to deal with children, because the children probably don't know what is she talking about, and they'll be naughty sometimes.
Okay.
And
Okay, that's okay. That's okay, Iji. Thank you. Guys, okay, I'm looking at the participant list. Can you please raise your hand if you find this type of exercise confusing or challenging for you? Okay. Just be honest, doesn't matter. This is not a wrong answer. Okay, so this is challenging for you. All right, let's hear one example. So obviously on the side over here, you're having, and even in the file that I sent it to you a couple of months ago, probably, you're having good examples of what you should use in comparing the pictures, okay? So I really hope you're opening the file though. So let's do the listening part over here. You will hear an example now. So some of the phrases that maybe you can include could be this one: involve, deal with, not well paid, coaching, full-time, part-time, keep somebody in order, work under pressure, keep cool. So these are some of the phrases that potentially you can use when comparing these two particular pictures. Not necessarily you can use all of them, maybe some of them, okay? Let's take a look. Well, we're gonna hear it though. Nikolai and Antonia doing this part of the test, okay? Let's see. I'm going to play it for you.
Unit 6, Speaking Part 2, Exercise 3.
Here are your photographs. They show young people doing jobs. I'd like you to compare the photographs and say what you think the people are learning from doing these two types of work.
Well, okay. So, firstly, I can say that both photos show young people, perhaps teenagers, working. Both the jobs in the photos involve working in situations where they need good skills in dealing with people in the correct way. I'm sure neither of them is very well paid. Anyway, the first photo shows a girl serving young people in a restaurant, whereas in the second photo, a boy is working with children and coaching them to play football. The girl's job may be full-time, whereas the boy's is probably part-time. I think both can learn a lot from these jobs. The girl can learn how to keep customers happy, while the boy has to keep children in order. The girl has to learn to work efficiently under pressure. On the other hand, the boy has to learn to keep cool. He'll probably learn not just to deal with children, but also their parents.
Thank you. Antonia, which of these jobs would you prefer to do?
I prefer to coach children than work in a restaurant because really I enjoy being in the fresh air more than being indoors. And I like kids.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was one example of how this type of exercise should be presented. Let's play it again. And on the side over here, notice which ones do they use? I mean, the boy, what was his name? Nikolai. So just listen and see which phrases of this does he use. In other words, guys, you are describing the pictures, but you are comparing one picture to another. This is the easiest way to understand it. So you are actually describing what's happening with the first picture, what's happening with the second one. But rather than saying, I can see this and this and this on the first picture, okay, you need to slightly change the structure of the sentence. In the first picture, the woman is, I think Nicholas sent me this, let me double check. Okay, so in the first picture, the woman is getting an order from the customers, while in the second picture, the coach is giving orders to the children. So you are describing the pictures, okay? Don't confuse yourself. This is a description, but not, when we say description, you usually get one photo and you have to describe it, okay? But now you actually have to do two things at the same time. You need to compare the pictures and you need to describe them. So that's the thing. Let's hear it one more time. Just focus on these phrases over here on the side, which one they say them, or Nikolai, which one he said actually, it was Nikolai.
Unit 6, Speaking Part 2, Exercise 3.
Here are your photographs. They show young people doing jobs. I'd like you to compare the photographs and say what you think the people are learning from doing these two types of work.
Well, okay. So, firstly, I can say that both photos show young people, perhaps teenagers, working. Both the jobs in the photos involve working in situations where they need good skills in dealing with people in the correct way. I'm sure neither of them is very well paid. Anyway, the first photo shows a girl serving young people in a restaurant, whereas in the second photo, a boy is working with children and coaching them to play football. The girl's job may be full-time, whereas the boy's is probably part-time. I think both can learn a lot from these jobs. The girl can learn how to keep customers happy, while the boy has to keep children in order. The girl has to learn to work efficiently under pressure. On the other hand, the boy has to learn to keep cool. He'll probably learn not just to deal with children, but also their parents.
Thank you. Antonia, which of these jobs would you prefer to do?
I prefer to coach children than work in a restaurant because really I enjoy being in the fresh air more than being indoors. And I like kids.
Thank you.
Okay, so a question for you. Which of these strategies, A or B, does Nikolai use when doing the task? A, he describes the first photo and answers the question before moving on the second photo and doing the same, or he points out similarities as well as differences between the two photos and switches between them as he answers. Which one did he cover? A or B? Nicholas, what do you think?
I think it is A.
You think it's B?
A.
You think it's A? You think he described the photos?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you think so?
Because
Why?
because I think
But Angel says it's B. Angel, why do you think it's B?
She did say like both involve what, and also then only if he compares the photos that what each of them needs.
Exactly. So I would agree with you, Angel. I think he points out the similarities as well the differences. So to make it easy for you, you do have the file. So I'm not going to give you homework from the file as I'm going to give you something else for homework. But I want you to practice this because next week I'm going to check up with you. So you're having the two pictures. The first thing what you need to do is find all the positive things that you have in the picture 1, and then try to see if you can use maybe the similar vocabulary to describe picture 2. Write them down separately and then combine them when you're going to say the sentence. This is probably the easiest approach that you can get for this. Of course, we will practice that, but because you do have the file, and in the file, everything is pretty much explained quite well. So I would really appreciate if you open it and just, there are 3 to 4 slides, I think, that you need to read in order for you to see which vocabulary you can use, linking words, how to make a contrast, how to say similarities, and so on. Okay. All right, let's take a look. Actually, no, okay, actually, first we're going to do the listening part before we come back to this, because I want us to finish the listening part. I'm going to send you a link. I will play it on my computer, but I mean, if it's better for you to play it from your side, it takes roughly 30 minutes to do this exercise. I just want to see how is your listening skills, how are they improved? Are they improved? A piece of advice that I can give it to you is before you listen to the audio, make sure you are reading the questions. I think there should be like a pause in between, so you will have time to read it. Another thing that I would advise you is take a piece of paper and a pen next to you and make some notes while you're listening. Okay? Does that make sense? Because sometimes they might gonna say, let's say, all of these words, but not necessarily they will be linked with Friday. What will the weather be like on Friday? They might gonna say it will be dry and clear, but actually it's going to be rainy. So you need to focus to the smallest details. You're having one example over here. I am going to send it to you. I was thinking to play it, to give you to play it in your own time, but that's going to be tricky because I think some of you will double play the audio. So we're not going to do that. All right, we're going to do it like this. Not that one. Let's customize the link. So we're having FCE. You're going to have it like this. Let's copy the link. Okay, please open it. Take a minute to read at least the first part. You will hear people speaking in 5 different situations. For question 1 to 10, choose the correct answer, A, B, or C. There is an example. You will hear each situation twice. You now have 1 minute to look at the question. So get ready, and I'm going to play it for you. Let's just see how our skills are improved. You're just reading the first part, okay? Because after that, you're having another one. Ready? All right, I'm gonna mute myself. I will play the audio for you. Please listen very carefully. Again, if you need to take some notes on a side, on a piece of paper, please do it. And I would advise you to do that. Maybe it's not going to be helpful with every single question, but it will be helpful. Okay, let's check this out.
This is the listening test of the Lithuanian National Examination of English for 2016. Listening test. I'm going to give the instructions for this test. I'll introduce each part of the test and give you some time to look at the questions. At the start of each part, you will hear this sound. Remember, while you are listening, write your answers on the listening paper. At the end of the listening test, you will have 2.5 minutes to transfer your answers onto the answer sheet. Now, turn to part 1. Part 1. You will hear people speaking in 5 different situations. For questions 1 to 10, choose the correct answer, A, B or C. There is an example 0. You will hear each situation twice. You now have 1 minute to look at the questions. Example 0.
And now let's turn to basketball news. The Miami Heat, well, they finally have an opponent for the finals. The Chicago Bulls are going to Miami after eliminating the New York Knicks in 6 games last night. The Knicks gave everything they had to win the match, but in the end, they could not match the intensity of the Bulls.
One.
And now the weather forecast for London. Let's see what the weather will be on Friday. It's going to be very windy with some drizzle too. The temperature is around 14 degrees. On Saturday it's going to pour all day, I'm afraid. There may be a thunderstorm in the afternoon. The temperature should be a bit lower at around 13 degrees. On Sunday the weather will be dry but cloudy. So no rain for you, but it will be quite windy with the temperature just 17 degrees. And now the weather forecast for London. Let's see what the weather will be on Friday. It's going to be very windy with some drizzle too. The temperature is around 14 degrees. On Saturday it's going to pour all day, I'm afraid. There may be a thunderstorm in the afternoon. The temperature should be a bit lower at around 13 degrees. On Sunday the weather will be dry but cloudy. So no rain for you, but it will be quite windy with the temperature just 17 degrees.
2. So what inspires your designs?
I find inspiration everywhere and I have a passion for colour. For one collection, I paired orange with yellow after seeing it on a crane on a building site. Building sites are inspiring because they're full of bright colours.
Do you have a lot of colours in your studio?
Well, it's mostly white, which allows me to think about colour in my work. All the furniture blends in. I have a simple white desk and white chairs. When it comes to design, I always choose looks over comfort. I'm happy to sit on an uncomfortable chair all day as long as it looks marvellous.
So what inspires your designs?
I find inspiration everywhere and I have a passion for colour. For one collection, I paired orange with yellow after seeing it on a crane on a building site. Building sites are inspiring because they're full of bright colours.
Do you have a lot of colours in your studio?
Well, it's mostly white, which allows me to think about colour in my work. All the furniture blends in. I have a simple white desk and white chairs. When it comes to design, I always choose looks over comfort. I'm happy to sit on an uncomfortable chair all day as long as it looks marvellous.
3. Look what they write. Steve Jobs School in the Netherlands want to replace teachers and textbooks with tablets. Every student gets an iPad.
Just for our son? No teachers?
Actually, there are no permanent teachers, but there is help from subject specialists.
Really? What about the classes?
Well, the school does not have traditional classes. They educate children in groups by age, 4 to 7 and 8 to 12.
I think the older children help the younger ones.
Right. And the students' results are much better.
So let's send our son there.
Look what they write. Steve Jobs School in the Netherlands want to replace teachers and textbooks with tablets. Every student gets an iPad.
Just for our son? No teachers?
Actually, there are no permanent teachers, but there is help from subject specialists.
Really? What about the classes?
Well, the school does not have traditional classes. They educate children in groups by age, 4 to 7 and 8 to 12.
I think the older children help the younger ones.
Right. And the students' results are much better.
So let's send our son there.
4.
This is the 14:16 service to Liverpool Lime Street, calling at Leeds, Manchester, and arriving at Liverpool Lime Street at 16:08. There is a buffet bar service located at the rear of this train, in coach D. There will also be a trolley service for hot drinks, snacks and sandwiches. Please have your tickets ready for inspection. Please remember this is a non-smoking service. This is the 14:16 service to Liverpool Lime Street, calling at Leeds, Manchester, and arriving at Liverpool Lime Street at 16:08. There is a buffet bar service located at the rear of this train, in coach D. There will also be a trolley service for hot drinks, snacks and sandwiches. Please have your tickets ready for inspection. Please remember this is a non-smoking service.
5. Join us tomorrow at 6 in the evening when we will be interviewing incredibly talented Jane Thomas. Call in at the end of the show to ask her questions. On tomorrow's show, I've invited the singer, whose amazing album has sold on Amazon in millions. She will join us to play some of the tracks from the album and to tell us more about the places and dates of her upcoming tour. Don't miss us at 6 in the evening. Join us tomorrow at 6 in the evening when we will be interviewing incredibly talented Jane Thomas. Call in at the end of the show to ask her questions. On tomorrow's show, I've invited the singer, whose amazing album has sold on Amazon in millions. She will join us to play some of the tracks from the album and to tell us more about the places and dates of her upcoming tour. Don't miss us at 6 in the evening. That is the end of part 1. Now turn to part 2.
Okay, we're going now for the next part. So take a moment, obviously, to take a look at the questions, see what kind of questions they are. And again, same principle. You're having one example.
Part 2. You will hear a conversation with a photographer about living in unexpected places. For questions 11 to 14, choose the correct answer. A, B, or C. There is an example 0. You will hear the recording twice. You now have 30 seconds to look at the questions.
We know that you aren't just an ordinary photographer. How could you describe your job?
Throughout my career, I've worked with many international architects, documenting their work and observing how their designs influence cities. But what I find really fascinating is what happens when architects leave and these places become appropriated by people. This obsession has led me to live out of a suitcase 365 days a year.
Sounds interesting. How can people change the built environment by themselves?
3 years ago, I was in Caracas, Venezuela. Local architects told me about the Torre David, a 45-storey office building which was under construction until the collapse of the economy in the early 90s. About 8 years ago, people started moving into the abandoned tower and began to build their homes right in between every column of this unfinished tower. Together, the inhabitants created public spaces and designed them to feel more like a home and less like an unfinished tower. In the lobby, they planted trees. They also made a basketball court. Throughout the tower, you come across all kinds of services, barber shops, small factories.
Great.
But when you look up closely, you see massive holes where elevators and services would have run through. The inventive inhabitants find opportunities in the most unexpected cases, like the nearby parking garage, which has been reclaimed as a taxi route to shuttle the inhabitants up through the floors in order to shorten the hike up to the apartment.
Unbelievable. Any more housing solutions that respond specifically to the inhabitants' requirements?
For example, Zabaleen in Cairo. They're descendants of farmers, but today they make their living by collecting and recycling waste from homes all over Cairo. They live in self-built, multi-storey houses where the ground floor of each apartment is reserved for garbage-related activities and the upper floor is dedicated to living space. I find it incredible to see how the piles of garbage are invisible to the people who live there. For example, young people can be sitting and chatting amongst these tons of garbage.
It can't be true. Well, are there any examples of how public buildings can be adapted to the environment?
Yes, plenty. For example, a community called Makoko. A friend of mine recently finished building a 3-storey floating school for the kids in Makoko. With this entire village existing on the water, public space is very limited. So now that the school is finished, the ground floor is a playground for the kids, but when the classes are out, the platform is just like a town square, where the fishermen mend their nets and floating shopkeepers dock their boats.
Thank you. We know that you aren't just an ordinary photographer. How could you describe your job?
Throughout my career, I've worked with many international architects, documenting their work and observing how their designs influence cities. But what I find really fascinating is what happens when architects leave and these places become appropriated by people. This obsession has led me to live out of a suitcase 365 days a year.
Sounds interesting. How can people change the built environment by themselves?
3 years ago, I was in Caracas, Venezuela. Local architects told me about the Torre David, a 45-storey office building which was under construction until the collapse of the economy in the early 90s. About 8 years ago, people started moving into the abandoned tower and began to build their homes right in between every column of this unfinished tower. Together, the inhabitants created public spaces and designed them to feel more like a home and less like an unfinished tower. In the lobby, they planted trees. They also made a basketball court. Throughout the tower, you come across all kinds of services, barber shops, small factories.
Great.
But when you look up closely, you see massive holes where elevators and services would have run through. The inventive inhabitants find opportunities in the most unexpected cases, like the nearby parking garage, which has been reclaimed as a taxi route to shuttle the inhabitants up through the floors in order to shorten the hike up to the apartment.
Unbelievable. Any more housing solutions that respond specifically to the inhabitants' requirements?
For example, Zabaleen in Cairo. They're descendants of farmers, but today they make their living by collecting and recycling waste from homes all over Cairo. They live in self-built, multi-storey houses where the ground floor of each apartment is reserved for garbage-related activities and the upper floor is dedicated to living space. I find it incredible to see how the piles of garbage are invisible to the people who live there. For example, young people can be sitting and chatting amongst these tons of garbage.
It can't be true. Well, are there any examples of how public buildings can be adapted to the environment?
Yes, plenty. For example, a community called Makoko. A friend of mine recently finished building a 3-storey floating school for the kids in Makoko. With this entire village existing on the water, public space is very limited. So now that the school is finished, the ground floor is a playground for the kids, but when the classes are out, the platform is just like a town square, where the fishermen mend their nets and floating shopkeepers dock their boats.
Thank you.
That is the end of part 2. Now turn to part 3.
Okay, we're going now for the next one. Part 3, you are having a couple of information, so you just need to decide which speaker said what. Make sure you're reading it. You're having informative but less widely known, unique and judgment-free, focus more on quality than quantity, loved but area restricted, not widespread but accepted, outdated but a must, and specialized and time-consuming.
Part 3. You will hear student views on social network sites. For questions 15 to 19, match the extracts that you hear with statements A to G. There is one statement that you do not need to use. There is an example 0. You will hear the recording twice. You now have 30 seconds to look at the questions. Example 0.
Quora is an amazing social network that not everybody is familiar with. It allows you to ask questions to people and get answers. Each question is unique. Responders actually are experts in the subject, and a community is extremely polite and respectful. I only know a handful of friends who actually use the site, but once you start, you're hooked.
Speaker 1.
In short, many young people have nailed this on the head. It's dead to us. Facebook is something we all got in middle school because it was cool, but now it's seen like an awkward family dinner party we can't really leave. It's weird and can even be annoying to have Facebook at times. If you don't have Facebook, that's even more weird and annoying. Weird because of the social pressure behind the question, everyone has Facebook, why don't you? And annoying because you'll have to explain that to just about everyone in classes you meet.
Speaker 2.
I personally don't know anyone who actively uses Google+. My only friends on Google+ are those who are more interested in technology. I personally abandoned the service because I found it difficult and tiring to categorise every single person into different circles and then keep track of all those groups.
Speaker 3. Instagram is by far the most used social media outlet for my age group. Everything about the application makes it less commercialised and more focused on the content, meaning more teens are inclined to visit it. Facebook gets all of the photos we took, the good, the bad, etc., while Instagram just gets the one that really summed up the event we went to. It is much more selective, and honestly, people spend more time on editing their photos and making the captions relevant and funny. Speaker 4.
Yik Yak is a rather new contender. However, a ton of friends in college have the application. It is so addictive as it focuses solely on the content of your posts. There are no followers, no profiles, nothing. However, Yik Yak is only as good as the 10-mile radius around you, so if you're in an area with a low population of Yik Yak users, you won't really be using the application much.
Speaker 5.
Snapchat is quickly becoming the most used social media network. On no other social network is it acceptable to post an "I'm so bored" photo. There aren't likes you have to worry about or comments. It's all taken away. Snapchat has a lot less social pressure attached to it compared to every other popular social media network out there. This is what makes it so addictive and liberating. It's the real you.
Speaker 1.
In short, many young people have nailed this on the head. It's dead to us. Facebook is something we all got in middle school because it was cool, but now it's seen like an awkward family dinner party we can't really leave. It's weird and can even be annoying to have Facebook at times. If you don't have Facebook, that's even more weird and annoying. Weird because of the social pressure behind the question, "Everyone has Facebook, why don't you?" And annoying because you'll have to explain that to just about everyone in classes you meet.
Speaker 2.
I personally don't know anyone who actively uses Google+. My only friends on Google+ are those who are more interested in technology. I personally abandoned the service because I found it difficult and tiring to categorise every single person into different circles and then keep track of all those groups.
Speaker 3. Instagram is by far the most used social media outlet for my age group. Everything about the application makes it less commercialised and more focused on the content, meaning more teens are inclined to visit it. Facebook gets all of the photos we took, the good, the bad, etc., while Instagram just gets the one that really summed up the event we went to. It is much more selective, and honestly, people spend more time on editing their photos and making the captions relevant and funny. Speaker 4.
Yik Yak is a rather new contender. However, a ton of friends in college have the application. It is so addictive as it focuses solely on the content of your posts. There are no followers, no profile. However, Yik Yak is only as good as the 10-mile radius around you, so if you're in an area with a low population of Yik Yak users, you won't really be using the application much.
Speaker 5.
Snapchat is quickly becoming the most used social media network. On no other social network is it acceptable to post an "I'm so bored" photo. There aren't likes you have to worry about or comments. It's all taken away. Snapchat has a lot less social pressure attached to it compared to every other popular social media network out there. This is what makes it so addictive and liberating. It's the real you.
All right, and we are having the last part, part 4. We're having like 11 minutes till the end. I think should be fine for us to complete this. And yeah, that should be it. So let's hear the last part. I hope you did well so far, but we'll check it out at the end.
Part 4. You will hear a representative of Oxford Dictionaries talking about the word of the year. For questions 20 to 25, complete the sentences. You may write one word only. Write the word exactly as you hear it. There is an example 0. You will hear the recording twice. You now have 30 seconds to look at the questions.
Every year, Oxford Dictionary lexicographers choose a word that captures the year's biggest trends or changes in the English language. For the first time, the word of the year 2015 is not even a word, it's a pictograph, an emoji officially called Face with Tears of Joy. There are more than 1,000 emoji characters, but Oxford could choose only one. The word of the year is difficult to pronounce because it has no letters. It is a cartoon yellow face shedding two giant tears. But they are not tears of sadness for the English language. It is a happy, crying face. As for the word emoji, it is a Japanese loanword derived from e, picture, and moji, letter, character. Emojis have been a staple of teen texting culture for years, but it was really over the last 12 months that we saw emoji culture explode into the mainstream. It's not surprising, as in the 21st century we've become so visually driven, emotionally expressive, but also obsessively immediate. You can see how traditional alphabet scripts have been struggling to meet the rapid-fire, visually focused demands of 21st century communication. It's not surprising that a pictographic script like emoji has stepped in to fill those gaps. It's flexible, immediate, and infuses tone beautifully. As a result, emoji are becoming an increasingly rich form of communication, one that transcends linguistic barriers. They can serve as insightful windows through which to view our cultural preoccupations. So it seemed appropriate to reflect this emoji obsession by selecting one as this year's Word of the Year. When Andy Murray, a Scottish tennis player, tweeted out his wedding itinerary entirely in emoji, for example, he shared a subtle mix of his feelings about the day directly with fans around the world. It was highly effective in expressing his emotions. Emotions play a key role in human communication, and words can transmit just a few aspects of an emotion. Hundreds of studies have shown that humans use voice tone, facial expressions, and body language to convey meaning beyond the spoken word. The emoji has solved a fundamental drawback of written communication, namely its inability to add a layer of emotion to emphasize a short phrase or comment without adding more words. One can think of it as mood punctuation. The more people use it, the more they depend on it to give added meaning to their words. And there's no doubt that text exchanges can lead to many miscommunications. Researchers found that people routinely misread emails because of the lack of nonverbal cues. Not only do you not need to pronounce it, but it means the same thing in every language. Every year, Oxford Dictionary lexicographers choose a word that captures the year's biggest trends or changes in the English language. For the first time, the word of the year 2015 is not even a word, it's a pictograph, an emoji officially called Face with Tears of Joy. There are more than 1,000 emoji characters, but Oxford could choose only one. The word of the year is difficult to pronounce because it has no letters. It is a cartoon yellow face shedding two giant tears. But they are not tears of sadness for the English language. It is a happy, crying face. As for the word emoji, it is a Japanese loanword derived from e, picture, and moji, letter, character. Emojis have been a staple of teen texting culture for years, but it was really over the last 12 months that we saw emoji culture explode into the mainstream. It's not surprising, as in the 21st century we've become so visually driven, emotionally expressive, but also obsessively immediate. You can see how traditional alphabet scripts have been struggling to meet the rapid-fire, visually focused demands of 21st century communication. It's not surprising that a pictographic script like emoji has stepped in to fill those gaps. It's flexible, immediate, and infuses tone beautifully. As a result, emoji are becoming an increasingly rich form of communication, one that transcends linguistic barriers. They can serve as insightful windows through which to view our cultural preoccupations. so it seemed appropriate to reflect this emoji obsession by selecting one as this year's Word of the Year. When Andy Murray, a Scottish tennis player, tweeted out his wedding itinerary entirely in emoji, for example, he shared a subtle mix of his feelings about the day directly with fans around the world. It was highly effective in expressing his emotions. Emotions play a key role in human communication, and words can transmit just a few aspects of an emotion. Hundreds of studies have shown that humans use voice tone, facial expressions, and body language to convey meaning beyond the spoken word. The emoji has solved a fundamental drawback of written communication, namely its inability to add a layer of emotion to emphasize a short phrase or comment without adding more words. One can think of it as mood punctuation. The more people use it, the more they depend on it to give added meaning to their words. And there's no doubt that text exchanges can lead to many miscommunications. Researchers found that people routinely misread emails because of the lack of nonverbal cues. Not only do you not need to pronounce it, but it means the same thing in every language.
Okay. All right, so you're having like a minute to go through your answers, and please submit them. In the meanwhile, I will tell you what will be your homework. 1 second. Page 72. Okay, guys, please submit your tasks. By the way, your homework will be on page 72. You're just going to do a vocabulary and grammar review of Unit 5 because we finished Unit 5. So make sure you're just finishing this type of exercises over here. You don't have to do Unit 6, we're still ongoing, right? So page 72, let me send you in WhatsApp as well a message. Hopefully you will do it. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, did you submit your task?
Yes.
Yeah, let's
Teacher, I have
see.
something I need to report.
Yep.
Does space affect your scores? The space bar.
No, it shouldn't.
Yeah, I think it affected my scores.
Let me see. Okay. Let me see.
Yeah, the last part. Yeah, the last few part.
What do you mean the space? How many words do you have over here? Oh.
Some are definitely wrong, but some I don't think are wrong because and I put some space in it.
Oh, okay. All right. No, I don't think so. Let me see what else, what the other students have. So guys, I only have Wei Shan, Nicholas, Angel, Mi Wong, Max, Mithu, EJ. I don't have Rui Chi. I don't have Linus. I don't have Sankai. Did you even do the task? Thank you, Linus. Okay, so far Linus has the best score. So Max, number 12, you have misconception or something like that. I can't remember what you had, but Linus has drawback and it is obviously the correct answer. So
yeah, but how about 22? 22, the 22 answer.
22.
How did I get that one wrong?
He has barriers. Let's see what you have.
I also put barriers.
Did you? Let's see. Oh, but look at your barriers.
Oh my God, you got, it's either autocorrect or I'm dumb. Bruh.
So you have to be very specific when you're writing, especially, of course, when it's typing. But remember that when you're going to have the exam, it's going to be on a piece of paper, so it will be a little bit different. But then again, you have to be very careful with spelling, because when you're using a keyboard, sometimes the autocorrection can fix that for you. So we don't really want that.
Well, so that kind of sucks.
Yes, unfortunately, yes, it does.
I got sucker
Ruichi,
punched.
you're fine, Max. Don't say that. Ruichi, did you submit it? You haven't done it. Okay, let's check out one more time. What happened to Sankai? He's not here. Yes, Ruichi, you can do it. Okay, guys, well done. Thank you very much for today. So as I said, page 72, unit 5, that will be your homework. Please, 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 please do it. Not for me, for you, so you can improve your skills. You're not doing this for me, okay? If I need to say now, I don't think most of you will pass FCE. I'm just being honest with you. I don't want to scare you, but I don't think you're getting this too serious. I think you need to be a little bit more serious when it comes to FCE. I did mention at the beginning of the course, this level is challenging. And I promise you, it is challenging. So make sure you're devoting some time. I do have some workbooks. I'm just thinking, should I send it to you? Because it has the answers as well. But I have to actually cut the PDF file without the answers, and then I'm going to send it to you. I do have a grammar and vocabulary book for you specifically for this level. I will send it to you in the WhatsApp group. I first need to figure out how to cut the PDF file so I can remove the answers, because I don't want you to see the answers. I want you to practice. That's the important thing. Anyway, thank you so much for today. Please do the homework again. I'm going to see you next Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.
Thank you, teacher.
Teacher.
Bye-bye.